Hello everyone. Hi, this is Manish and I hope you are able to hear me. I can see the live button, so I'm guessing that I'm finally live now. I'm really sorry for this delay. I've been struggling for last half an hour. Somehow this digital divide and technological distance have kept me away, so I'm really sorry for keeping you waiting, and I hope that all of you who have stayed along can see me now. So as we start, I want to put my anxieties about the technology and everything behind, and invite you to this conversation. What we are going to talk today, I'm going to share one of the case studies from my own life, where I have applied presencing practices. I was a part of a big project where we have applied presencing practices in transforming the health system. And in that moment, I was working with UNILEVER. So let me say this. Let me give a quick introduction about myself, and I think that would be a good start. My name is Manish Srivastava. Now you can see it on the screen as well. I'm a part of Global Practitioner Circle of Presencing Institute, and I currently live in Mumbai. And currently I'm working on various presencing projects in Ethiopia, India, US, and which are connected to other parts of the world as well. This particular story that I want to share with you is from the time when I was working with UNILEVER, and UNILEVER in partnership with UNICEF and Synergos Institute, which is a leading international NGO, started a partnership for child nutrition. And this whole project started with one leader in UNILEVER saying that we cannot be selling nutrition products in a country where half of its children are undernourished. So this project was focused on child malnutrition. Project started somewhere around 2005, and in 2006 we set up a cross-sectoral partnership. So this is a story about that, and how I'm going to structure this conversation with you. Right now I'm not the lead presenter, so I would seek Lily's help in navigating through questions and getting to know what you are feeling and what are your questions. So we will do this conversation in three parts. One is I will take around 10 to 15 minutes from now to tell you the story, assuming that not everybody of you would have read the case. And after that, I would invite questions, and I would seek Lily's help to possibly read out or find, or I will see maybe on the Hangout tool I can read your questions. And then I would answer those questions to help you deeply understand how theory U is applied. Let me also say the reason I picked up this case and why now. First of all, in your U.Lab journey, all of you are moving from bottom of the U to the right-hand side of the U, as we say. Okay. So the bottom of the U is about presencing, is about reflecting, is about getting in touch with what really matters to me. And as we get this clarity and we crystallize our prototype, and that's what you are doing right now. So on 11th of February, with Otto, we will be stepping into forming our prototypes. And that is the reason I picked up this case, because this is a story about how a big U.Lab project happens. And what happens after that? What happens when we have our idea in front of us? How do we take it ahead? That is what this case is about, and that's what I would bring to you. Second reason is that this is about people people who are in the middle of the system, how they enable change. Not necessarily CEOs, not necessarily founders, not necessarily prime ministers, but people like you and me, people who are in the middle of the system, how they get together. And third, because U.Lab is about transforming business, society, and self. This is the case about business. It is about business leaders who get in touch with what matters to them and make a difference to the society. So with that, let me start with the first part of this case, which is of this discussion, which is telling you the case, sharing with you the case. So as I mentioned earlier, this project started with Unilever, UNICEF, and Synergos Institute coming together to set up a partnership for child nutrition. Unilever was funding this project. This project was called Bhavishya Alliance. Bhavishya in Sanskrit means future. And this alliance was set up in India. In Maharashtra state, we had 15 partners, 4 large corporates, leading Indian corporate businesses, UNICEF, local NGOs, and government of Maharashtra. So it was a perfect tri-sectoral partnership project that you want to be a part of. And this was one of the earliest projects when the Presence book was written. This was one of the earliest Theory U projects. So when this project initiated, I was a part of Unilever, and Unilever had asked me to be on this project. It was a 3 months change lab. We went through sensing journeys, traveling and living in the villages, gathering data, doing dialogue interviews, all that you're learning in the U.Lab. We did all of that, and we came back to reflect. We went actually to Himalayas to reflect in a 72-hour solo to reflect on what really needs to change, what really what matters to me as a person. And we were 30 leaders from different sectors who came together for who were nominated, just like me, from different organizations. They were sent to work on this project. I also had another role, which was to map the learning U process of the entire project so that Unilever can apply it later. So as we were finishing this project, when we completed it, we came with 4 prototype ideas, 4 wonderful innovation ideas. And that was the end of 3 months. After which, what happened? Nothing. Because we were suddenly, all 30 of us were back in our organizational roles. We were back doing what we were supposed to do. I was back as in my learning role, leading learning and development for the entire country in South Asia. And that was my role. So what happens to Bhavishya Alliance? What happens to child malnutrition? What happens to the stories we heard about people? And this is where this project starts, because this is where you come across one journey of the U, and you are now on the other side, and you're wondering how to make these 4 innovation prototypes happen. So this has 2 parts. One is my own personal journey, and I'm sharing my personal journey because, as we say, the quality of the intervention is directly proportional to the inner condition of the intervener. So it's important to share my story, but listen to my story in the spirit that this was also a story of each of those 30 individuals who went through this journey, and many others who were involved in this journey. So once I was back in the Unilever, I had a very troubling time. I had a lot of struggle, because somewhere I felt that I have left the journey incomplete. Somewhere I was already aware, my mind had opened, my heart has opened, and my will was stuck. Some fear was holding me. I knew that I was getting voices of these children who were undernourished. 47% children were undernourished at that moment. And I was getting them in my dreams. So somewhere I was trying to make a conversation in Unilever that let's reinvest, put me back onto that project. But no one was sure how to start. You know, how long can you keep doing a lab? So somewhere down the line, there was a film made on Bhavishya Alliance that came to my table in my learning center where I had a posh office. And when I looked at the film, I saw myself in the film. It was literally the camera turning back, as Otto says it. Literally in front of me on my computer screen, late in the evening, I'm seeing the film, and I'm saying in that film, somehow they had captured that and not edited it out. I was saying that knowingly or unknowingly, I have made a promise to those poor farmers whose children are dying, and I cannot run away from that. The moment I saw that, I was crying. I still get goose pimples. I knew that I cannot run away from that. I knew something deep had shifted already, and that was the impact of the lab. So next moment, I took on a journey. I reached out to the CEO, I reached out to the directors, and whatever happened, there was a lot of struggles. I will cut the long story short. Outcome was that after 3-4 months of struggle, which was painful for me, I'm so thankful to my CEO for he called me and seconded me full time to this project. And that's when the new journey began. So by the time we reached on the other side of the U, we were starting a new U. Because we had to rebuild the community. We had to rebuild the partnership. And now I will take you through the 5 phases of Theory U to highlight what we did and specifically focus on one of the projects. I will take maybe 10 minutes to do so. The first phase we call is co-initiating, because it's a group of individuals coming together to clarify their intention and initiate the journey. So right now here I was invited by the Bhavishya team to join them, and Bhavishya team were a core team, few very committed individuals who were there. I was seconded from UNILEVER, they were seconded from UNILEVER, UNICEF, and other organizations, Synergos Institute, definitely a leading organization in that. So we were seconded, and now we said, let's restart. So we started mapping our stakeholders, first thing. Who are the key stakeholders who should be on this project, who will take on these prototype ideas further? We mapped individuals. We wrote to them, we met them, we did dialogue interviews with them. And we did 2 workshops. One of them was bringing business partnership in the center. So we invited corporates. And we did a lot of pre-work, a lot of pre-interviews. We also invited one of the leading members of Planning Commission, who was very respected leader at that time. We invited him to co-facilitate, so that brings people together. And in that workshop, we connected with the purpose, which is the child. There was a shift that took place in the workshop when CEO of UNILEVER at one moment was so moved, he said, let's stop fighting and struggling who should lead the project or who should be in and who should be out. Let's put the child on the table. I cannot forget that sentence. Let's put the child on the table. And that's when we put the purpose in the center, and partnership was redefined, corporate relationships were redefined, 4 prototype ideas were re-looked into 7 prototype initiatives that we would lead now. Government leaders and corporate leaders were more aligned about what is to be done. However, that was not enough, because leaders who are there in the room are not the ones who are going to do the prototypes. We need operating managers. So we went a level down and we called another meeting. We called the entire community of Bhavishya. We spoke and wrote to 250 odd people, of which 60 people came for the workshop, and rest of them were sending their voices of, now you know, voices of judgment, fear, and cynicism through the emails. So we captured all the voices, and we did this workshop where we facilitated a dialogue between this very diverse group of stakeholders, right from the grassroots women worker of the village to the planning commission leader and the CEO of the company. And when these people came together and did a dialogue, what came out of this was a clarity of primary goal, that we are here for child and mother, and that's the missing voice. And we will give leadership to our purpose, not just among who is more powerful. Purpose is more powerful, child is more powerful. And there are 2 things which I want to highlight here. One, that in that moment, as we were going through this, one woman said, Shakutai, she said that you cannot build the bridge on the top of the mountain. To build the bridges, you have to go to the bank of the river. That insight has changed my life and career. I realized I was struggling with the ivory towers to build the bridge, and they are doing what they can do. You can make rope, rope trolleys at that, not bridges. Real bridges are at the bank. So we have to go right on the field and do these partnerships. And second insight was what Doug Bully had already said, let's put the child on the table, which became very clear that let's work on this. So after this, as this was over, we looked into different prototypes, and I'm going to share you with one prototype. One big leverage point identified in the lab was strengthening the supply chain of healthcare system so that vital drugs which are necessary for the health of lactating and pregnant mothers, those vital drugs are available, which was as low, availability of those drugs were as low as 10% in the primary health center. We wanted that shift to happen, and for which we wanted to bring the expertise of the corporate sector, the reach of the government sector, and the commitment of the NGO sector together. So this project, to initiate this project, we had done this co-sensing phase. We looked into who will be the key stakeholders. So within UNILEVER, we identified the director of supply chain. We realized that this guy is Harvard educated, he has knowledge, and he can really help us get the resources to bring that knowledge within. We identified, as Otto says, for sensing journeys, identify the places of most potential. We identified Nasik district, and there we reached there. So like this, we moved into the sensing phase. We organized learning journeys, and this time we organized learning journeys in a way that which was very, what I say, the groundhog version of Theory U. We could not plan it on the top. We could not say that this is a Theory U project. We just said, sir, would you please come with us to the village, because that's where we will really understand. And can we stay a night in the village? And what do you feel when you listen to that villager? So we lived the Theory U without talking about it. And in doing so, the director of supply chain got in touch with the deep pain and complexity of government servants when they are, and his judgments about, or the judgment of UNILEVER, including mine, about what that government doesn't work, started transforming. We did another learning journey where we invited government officers to visit Quality Ice Cream Factory. And their judgments dropped when they said that if a ice cream can reach to the farthest corner of the country, why can't medicine? And then we got together into a dialogue and did the systems analysis, where the director of the supply chain led the beer game and other analytical tools, and we mapped what are the things to be changed. So this was our sensing journey, which was now moving on to the presencing moment. We didn't have luxury to go to Himalayas. So what we did was we walked around the water reservoir, and on our way back, we reflected, what is this doing to me? Who is myself in this? Why am I here? And what is my worth? What I'm going to do now about this challenge? And in that moment, the idea came that let's engage management trainees, a wonderful resource available within UNILEVER, to work on the supply chain project under the guidance of Director of Supply Chain, and do the transformation work with the government, with their partnership. And then we chose 17 primary health centers, and we said, let's work on this and see what difference we can make. So that was the presencing or reflecting piece, and the prototype was getting these management trainees. But as I said, my learning is every time you reach the prototype phase, you're starting a new you, because now you have new people in the room. We have these 22-year-old management trainees in the room who had no idea why the hell this is going on. So we took them through another U journey. We took them through village. We took them through presencing, sensing, presencing, and co-creating. And the 6 months innovation project, which had many challenges, I mentioned that already in the case. I won't go there. But I would mention, because you are moving on to the prototyping, it is very iterative process. We thought of many projects, many ideas. Finally, what idea clicked was, let's make pair of 2 management trainees, because they could not give more than 2 months each. That was their learning stint. And this project needed 6 months of focus. So we created a relay team, and that was connected. The chain was connected by one person who was more focused on this, and me, who was connecting the dots anyways. And this is in this iterative way we continued this project. But a very important point of prototype is, Otto says, listen to the universe and dialogue with the universe. So at that moment, what we did was we continued our conversation with the larger whole. As this project kept shaping, as management trainees and the director of supply chain and Department of Health and government staff, as they kept working on improvement of availability of medicines using multiple approaches coming from various sectors, their thinking, we kept telling this story to the higher-ups, to the governing council, to the CEO, to the state ministry. The result was, at the end of 6 months, when we presented the case, they were already enrolled. The result was that there was up to 40% availability of vital drugs in primary health center. And state ministry was so impressed that they decided to make it a policy. There was a policy change, and it was scaled across the primary health centers. Like this, we did various projects. In one project, a 5-star hotel of a large company, which was a partner, decided to open their kitchen to the cooks of midday meal and partnered with them to develop delicious low-cost meals for children, so they can so the nutrition problem is taken care at that level, and train mothers how they can really bring back nutrition to the village life. So like this, many projects. Another project, UNILEVER Lifebuoy, which is hand washing program, partnered with UNICEF's program to cover 200 villages. So like this, we did many partnerships across the 7 prototypes. The result was, as the last part of the U often we say is movement energy. The result was, somewhere in a small way, we started shifting the attention of the larger system. And 3 years after the project, we learned from the UNICEF report that there was 16 percentile reduction in the rate of stunting, which is an indicator of malnutrition. So you can see that somewhere, whatever we did in a small way led to a movement that brought this shift. That's the story. I'll pause now to listen to your questions and comments. And I request Lily to help me. Let's see, where can I find your questions? Lily, if you are able to see the questions, you can either guide me how to see them or mail me.
Manish, if you click on the left, there's a Q&A button.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, there you'll find the questions.
Okay, that's wonderful. Ask your audience to submit. Oh wow, that's great. So I'll go, you keep posting and I'll go by one. This is Jamuna Ramakrishna asking, you mentioned that with each new prototype, with new people entering, you have a new U. That is my question. How do you go about integrating the U process once the scaling up starts, regardless whether the scaling up happens through government or business? So I see the core question is, how did you go about integrating the U process once the scaling up starts? So Jamuna, your question has the answer. And I would say that that every time you get a new person, see the people who take the journey of the you, whether articulated in a workshop way or in a groundhog way, the way we did it. The point is, when you touch the deeper aspect of yourself, see the essence of theory you is open mind, open heart, and open will. So what I learned that in every interaction, once the scaling is beginning, I'm going to meet this new government officer who is very important for scaling, but he has not been through the U. So I engage with him in a dialogue interview, which is one of the tools, but I engage with him to help him open his mind, expand the thinking, see multiple perspectives, connect with his heart. Why children matter to him? What does it does to him when he learns about a child dying? Because my heart is still crying. And when we connect at that level, then you are taking him, enrolling him into a U journey. And that what I mean, that once you reach the prototype, you're getting the new partners, you have to take many, many U journeys. Sometimes in these small conversational ways, by deep listening, deep connecting. And sometimes you have to take them through a journey. Like we took the management trainees through a journey. We realized that unless they go to the village and live there, unless they get in touch with what matters to them, their self and work, unless they do that, they won't be on this project. So I hope I'm able to answer your question, finding ways to take others through the journey. So I will go through the next question. I have sound and video now. I went out of the program and back in, then it worked. So, okay, thank you. I'm really sorry, guys, for the challenge. Okay. Manish, so none of the stakeholders knew about the U process. Not really. Actually, none of the key stakeholders knew about the U process in the health system part of the project. See, the people who were holding the Bhavishya core team, of course, had been through the lab. And there were some more people who knew the lab. So, but the government officers we were working through had not been through the journey. The UNILEVER people had not been through the journey. This is Chiara's question. Hi, Chiara. So they had not been through the journey. So we took them through the journey, right? We took them through the journey. We did a U for them. We didn't name U all the time, but we were conscious. Our design was U, sensing, presencing, creating. So that's what we took them. Okay, Catherine says, very powerful. UNILEVER has a history of creative level. Was this work with presencing within UNILEVER started by text? Absolutely. Catherine, yes. Text was my inspiration and the guy who got me in. I said, one guy in UNILEVER said that how can we be selling nutrition products in the country where half the children are undernourished? That's text. Okay, I think questions are, okay, let me see. I think I missed this. How does it, this is done. Okay, here is another question. Yes. So this was different from Tex Gunning's journeys. This was after that. Just to clarify, Catherine. Did the organization who sent reps not make any commitment to Bhavishya Alliance at the outset that went beyond 3 months? Yes, Jamuna, good question. See, in such projects, no one knows what it's going to be. No one knows. So when we made a commitment about 3-month change lab, and this was very early in the process, our process was also evolving. This was 2006. The real work, the story I'm telling you 2007-8, but the lab happened in 2006. So indeed, people were not fully aware, leaders were not fully aware what's in store. So 3 months was also a very long time. Imagine an NGO which sends one of their key performers for 3 months. What would they do? So large organizations like UNILEVER still could manage. I was not indispensable, but others were. So what I have learned that you don't have to do a 3 months intensive journeys. You can find new ways of engaging leaders. You can do distributed journeys. And that's what we are doing in other places. We are doing in Ethiopia, which you will hear later. And tomorrow I will share another story around same time about doing this work with women, for women empowerment, with women leaders in villages. So we are doing very small journeys, but distributed over a long period of 9 to 10 months, distributed, presencing journey, sensing journeys, presencing, co-creating, implementing, all that part. So I hope that answers Jonah's question also, and I cannot see more questions as of now. Any more questions, guys? Lily, can you see any more questions which I can't see somehow?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay, great. So do send me your comments also. What is resonating with you in this journey? And let me say one more thing. I see one question. Did the organize? No, this is the same one. I don't know. Somehow it looked like it has popped again. Okay, so I see the questions are not coming in a sequence, so I have to go up and down. Let me also share with you what are my questions. You know, my question is that, before that, let me take this question. Okay, Tana has asked the question: how do you follow the theory process within large systems that are not functioning from an open heart space? For example, Unilever, at least in USA, is required by the system of law to maximize profit above all else. Tana, I love this question. This was my pain. This is what I could see when the camera turned for me, because in the system, I didn't know that I was doing that. I still love business sector. I love my job in Unilever. I thought I'm changing the world by doing so. And I do believe we are changing the world. We don't know for which, towards which direction. And I think, you rightly pointed out, the key to me is opening the heart. So if you explore that, how do you open the heart? And thanks, your question comes at the right time, because that's what is my question, that how do we open the heart of more and more leaders in the business sector? My learning, and those who are from business will know, each business leader is a human being with a very big heart. Now I work with CEOs across, they read poems, they love children, they go and do work for the communities as and when they get time. So our job is to, how do we activate their heart? One is that when you take the sensing journeys and meet the people who don't have voice and see your impact on them, that breaks the heart. To me, to open the heart, sometimes you have to let it break. My heart broke when I saw that, when I lived with those communities. I was not same after that. And I think that happened to all the business people who were with me. And that is what happened to the director of supply chain. That is what I saw in the CEO of Unilever South Asia. That is what Tex Gunning, the quality that he had, we are talking about. So when that heart breaks open, there is a field for transformation. There is a field for transformation. So that's the key. Engaging them in that conversation is the key. What I'm questioning now, how do we help bring more and more leaders to connect with their heart? Because inside it, there is a little plant which wants to grow, which wants to connect. How do we bring them in conversation across the divides? That's the key. I'm sure you have better answers than me. And please, I'm open to your answers also. Okay, one question is here from Chiara. Manish, were the products you distributed produced in India to imported? I am not clear if you're talking about the medicines, drugs that I'm talking about, or you're talking about the Unilever products. Not very clear about what to answer. Chiara, could you drop a small line again? And let me also check with Lily that how are we doing on time?
We are out of time, but I'm sure you can keep talking if you'd like to.
No, I'm available. I'm also feeling that I was late by many minutes, but I'm available right now, so I can continue talking if there are people. Lily, can you see people? How many people are there on this?
We have about 20 people.
Oh, that's great.
So maybe go on for about 10 more minutes.
Absolutely, guys. And if you have to leave because you have made a time commitment, please do that. And please, others, continue your questions. You can also write to me, connect with me in another way, so I will be happy to share about this and other projects. And tomorrow, anyways, I would be coming same time, and we will work out the technology tomorrow. So okay, Chiara says medicines. Yes, now, that is, this question hasn't come yet. I was thinking this question will come. So let me say about medicines. One thing we realized when we were there in Nasik district, in the middle of the village, we had district health officers in a government medical college. After our journeys to factories and villages, we were sitting down and making a systems mapping the whole system, that what is happening here. What came was what's so revealing to me and to the supply chain director of Unilever. We realized that how business is so intertwined. The pharma companies, I won't name them now, but some big pharma companies which were in a way exploiting the complexity of the government system to increase their profits, right, in a way. So we were very sad to know that, because we kind of work for those kind of companies. My colleagues are working in those companies. One sadness remained with me was that we didn't have a pharma company on this project. Possibly we didn't perceive that. In the beginning, when this partnership was being formed, from the nutrition point of view, Unilever was relevant. But should we had a pharma company also in the game? We could not see at that moment. And at that moment, to get a pharma company in the room was difficult. So we did what we could do with what resources and the kind of people who were there in the room, and we shifted the system. But to make a real dent in the system, we needed more. So that's why this journey is incomplete. And now I'm trying to work with some pharma companies, and I'm realizing that their people also have heart, and they are stuck in a system which is just working towards its best knowledge. So those medicines were produced in India, some of them imported, but we didn't have the right people in the room. I hope that gives some clarity and opens new questions. Lily, if you see a question which I've missed, just highlight it. I saw that you have a way of highlighting these questions. Okay, I see one question by Catherine. How does it help to think of it as a U journey when they aren't familiar with it, as compared with simply touching people's heart and going for deep stakeholder support and practical actions. You seems complicated. Right. Thanks for this question. Um, I think I see that that U has many layers. As you see, even in the drawings of Kelvy, U has many layers. U can be seen as a journey, a process. So it has these phases which I used to share with you. You know, these phases, and U can be seen as a philosophy or as a very simple but deep mindful journey of opening mind, heart, and will. Also, you can be seen as a set of tools enabling deep listening, deep conversations, which is at the heart of it. So what I would say to answer your question, that the essence lies in open mind, heart, and will. Keep that essence always with you. That's what I try to do. Then comes the designing the U journey, designing the process. So that requires some bit of designing the whole intervention, being with people. So that's where this process really helps. Because this is, what is U? U is, it started with Otto Scharmer, Joseph Jaworski interviewing leaders like you and me who were bringing change and transforming social systems and complex systems. So they mapped their inner journey, and that's what the U is. And over the period of time, practitioners like you and me have enriched it further. So I think there are at least two layers I would highlight. Is one, that when you design the process, you look at what is the co-initiation? Who are the key stakeholders who should be in the room? And what is the deeper intention for which we are coming? So you do dialogue interviews, you bring them together, you do some workshops to get at least key people, your own allies, the people who share the spark, come to the room together. Then comes sensing journeys, going into the field to understand right from the people itself. And there may be various ways of doing it, and so on and so forth, which you understand, I won't go. But at each level, it's like a hologram. At each level, there is a you. At each level, you are doing open mind, open heart, open will. And especially, I was answering Jamuna's question, when you move to the other side of the you, that's when you move to the prototype, you are meeting new people. You may not have time and luxury to design another you journey for them, but continuously taking them through the you in your conversations, taking them through the you. And as and when possible, so you design one-day workshop, take them through the you. You have a 1 hour conversation, take them through the you. Which essence is opening mind, bringing different perspectives, opening heart, connecting to the purpose, connecting empathy, and connecting to why I am in this, and opening will, looking into what's new, what we can create together, what is the possibility, and practicing deep listening. So, and in one way it is complicated, in one way it is very simple. I hope I have been able to answer your question. I saw some questions coming, and okay, let me see. Jean, the voices of judgment, fear, and cynicism are there as reality. How do you create the partnership that builds bridge from these voices to the voices of hope and possibility? Beautiful, beautiful. In the way your question is placed also is very insightful. Yes, as I was saying, different layers. This is one of the things. This is the shift we are creating. And you know, in my experience, I told you about that meeting, which became our landmark meeting, 12th September 2007. 60 stakeholders came. And by that time, because of the gap, because of us not being able to translate prototypes into something, because of whatever happened, there were a lot of voices of judgment, cynicism, and fear. So much so that we had suspended doing our quarterly community meetings. For last 2 or 3 quarters, no meeting was taking place. It was like a hot potato. because the last meeting we did, there was so much of cynicism in the room that the organizers were pained, really. So when I came, I thought there's no other way but to listen to them. So all we did was listening to them. And we called them and they would say, no, but I was a part of the lab and you didn't do this and you didn't give me this. And we were like, okay, what else? What else? Give me your question. Give us your pain. Give us your problems. And what we did, literally, to tell you as a practical tool, I created a design team. 4 or 5 of us were working on the design of this just one-day workshop. And we worked for a month on this. So we gathered all the mails, we printed them, with a Caesar, we cut the questions on the table and we grouped the question into 12 key questions, 12 key concerns, voices of judgment, fear, and cynicism. We printed them bold and put them on the wall when the people came in the room, 60 of them. We gave them dots and asked them to put on the question which really hurts you, which really matters to you, which is your highest voice of judgment, cynicism, or fear. They did that. We picked the 4 top questions and then we created an open space, a deep dialogue on those questions. Why this question matters to me? What is really my need in this? What are my feelings in this? So that dialogue created a shift, a big shift. We used other methodologies also. Social presence in theater is a powerful way of shifting from these voices, because you connect to your body, you connect to where the judgment and fear reside in your body, and then you shift it. In some places, in this very meeting, we used art. We named colors as emotions, and we asked them to just paint. So big canvas, you had an NGO worker and UNICEF chief painting together. One painting colors of anger, red volcano, and other putting a little tree in that. So that also allowed the shift. So we used various methodologies which help people to verbally and non-verbally talk about it. I hope that would, and I'm sure you have many methodologies, you know. What do we do in relationships? There is pain. We give it time. We listen to it. That's my way, and I'm every day learning new ways. But very important, one of the very important thing is, what is the voice inside you that is holding it? What I mean is, even as a facilitator, my voices I had to confront. My voice of fear that, oh, these guys won't listen to us. So once and naming those voices and bringing them out with openness has helped me to pay attention what is holding me from inside. Let's see, is there any other? These are beautiful questions, guys. Actually, you are helping me turn the camera once again and looking at my own life journey. Thank you so much for being here. You have touched our hearts. Thank you. Your presence, I'm missing your voices, but your presence. Okay, here there is a question by Joanne. I missed the first 25 minutes, but from what I hear, sounds like use you process in a kind of action learning process with communities. Wow, that's a great framing, Joanne. Yes, it's an action learning process. That's beautiful. Yes. And I would say, to add to that, that it helps how we are learning together and how that learning is being reflected. And I think one of the essence of action learning is you're learning about the action, but you're also learning about the learning. And as a collective, you're turning the camera. What's going on here? So I love that framing. Lily, is there any other question that stands out? Because questions are coming in between. So Catherine, I hope it's not as complicated as it seems after this conversation. Okay, Jamuna has a question. Did the organizations who send reps not make any? Oh, that I already answered. I answered. People make commitments, but things change. So the learning here, Jamuna, is that you cannot take any commitment for granted in a partnership work. Another important lesson for me was the differentiating individual and institution commitment. So institution commit resources, but the individual goes through the journey. Now, assuming that Manish Srivastava has gone through the journey, therefore Unilever is committed, is very dangerous. Reasons are obvious, but very important. Institutions are a living organism. They're changing every day. So when we redid the groundhog view that I am saying, the other part of it, we realized that we have to constantly communicate and help the individual build their relationship within the system. And I have learned this from the Synergos leader who was there. She really taught me this, that a lot of networking needs to happen, and not networking in a shallow sense, but a deep conversations need to happen, where if Manish is involved from Unilever, then the Bhavishya is also having conversation with Manish's bosses and other people and trying to help him build his intra-organizational mobilization, intra-organizational advocacy, and inter-organizational advocacy. So you're working on multiple ends because you cannot take commitment for granted in complex systems. In fact, those who have not committed turns out to be your aces, who have not signed the commitment. Because what you're looking for is deeper. So open mind commitment is what gets signed. Open heart commitment is where the real relationship is. And open will commitment is when you come together to do things in spite of your limitations. So how do you take the commitment to deeper level is the question. So let's see. Let me go from the top and see if there are any questions, because some of your questions just pop in the middle. And if you have any other question, just let it pop. So let me also read. I think we must honor reality before we can ask people to open up what might be possible. Jean, absolutely. So true. And cultural context and the power dynamics, these are blind spots of most of the processes. So what are the power dynamics? You know, one crisis learned hard way is that when men and government officers invited us, wonderful people, they were part of the lab. They invited us to one of their meetings, and they were women workers who sat on the floor in one queue, and I sat with them, and the government officer was offended. He says, "You are not respecting our power distance." And I realized that we were thinking, oh, let's open up, let them talk, but that won't happen. So you have to know at what level and how you have to organize these circles, which I think you all are so rich, such rich experience you have because you work in international situations. So thanks for pointing that out. Okay. Okay, thank you, Joy. If it was worth it, this is wonderful. I'm so happy that it was worth it for you. Okay, there is one question with Jamuna. Thanks. There probably have to be more and more people. Where is it gone? Okay. The U conversation with new people coming to the initiative, the core group. The core group grows, change, but always, you know, core group also has the depth of the group is also a function of the size. So you have certain number of people in the center, they change over a time. Our core group also transformed quite a bit. And every change impacts the organization and its output. So if the same group remains very long, it has issues. If the new people come too early, it has issues. So we have to see that dynamic very carefully. That's an important point. Yes, Jamina, I answered that question. Let's see. Okay, Catherine, you tell me, I just read it, that the question that is new moves to the height of the list, so I should remain on the top, isn't it? Okay. So I kind of see that, Lily, if you're still there, then we see that questions more or less are covered, unless there is something that I'm missing. I'm very happy to answer those.
I think we've hit most of them.
Say again, Lily, I missed that.
I think we've covered most of them that I see.
We have answered most of them, yes. That's right. That's right. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here and your patience and staying on in spite of that darkness of first few minutes. And you have stayed on, so I really want to thank you for that. And your questions were beautiful. It shows the question itself show your understanding and your groundedness in making these kind of work happen. And what I'm missing is, of course, could not hear your voices. I would love to be available to answer if you have any more questions around this. This particular case is posted on the practitioner's case. This is posted, and you can go on the presencing website and read the case, and there is space to write your comments or questions. So what I promise is that next 3-4 days I'll keep going to that space, and if there are any questions, and we can engage, or we can start a discussion around it if you have any questions. So really thank you for that. And I just saw Raj writing something. He says, Manish, I waited for 10 minutes before logging out, so can you please put this recording out for later? Thanks. Raj, thank you so much. I'm really sorry, technology struggle. Lily had really guided me through this, but I somehow was struggling for 30 minutes and could not come online. So I think it is available. Isn't it, Lily? Would you talk about how will it be available so people who are here?
Sure. This will all be available if you visit the event page, and also if you go to the U.Lab YouTube account. As soon as this video goes offline, it should be online again as a recording. So you'll be able to go back and watch as many times as you'd like.
Great. Thank you. So this will be available. And thank you so much, guys, for being here. And let's continue the great work. Thank you, Lily, for really guiding me through this.
Thank you. This was excellent. And thanks for everybody for coming out to watch.
Thank you. And Joanne says that, is there a possibility of having an interactive discussion sometime? Are you in a hub? I'm a part of a couple of hubs in India and Ethiopia. So yes, we can have an interactive discussion. I'll speak to Lily and Adam. Maybe we'll set up a discussion on presencing space, and we can do that. Absolutely. I would love to. That would be great. So thank you so much. Let's pause now and let's connect again. Thank you. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, everyone.